They thought humiliating her in front of 200 students would be the end of her, but they had no idea they had just awakened the one girl who could burn their entire legacy to the ground. If you love jaw-dropping twists, unstoppable glow-ups, and revenge that hits harder than karma itself, then stick with this story till the last line, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable episodes like this. Lena Hartley had always mastered the art of invisibility, a quiet girl who slipped from class to class like a ghost, unnoticed except by those who made it their mission to torment her. But the day the bullies slapped her in front of 200 students was the day everything changed, because the humiliation they thought would break her actually ignited something far more dangerous than they ever expected, a fire that would spread across the entire school and beyond, reshaping lives, loyalties, and destinies as if fate itself had been waiting for this exact moment to unfold. And though Lena didn't know it yet, this incident would lead her to uncover secrets she never imagined, expose betrayals that ran deeper than blood, and transform her into someone no one would dare underestimate again, starting with the morning assembly that marked the beginning of the end. The gym was packed, students buzzing like bees around a queen, waiting for morning announcements. Lena stood at the edge of the crowd, hugging her books to her chest, praying the day would pass without confrontation, but fate, mixed with the cruelty of teenagers, had other plans, because standing on the stage was Brielle Summers, the golden girl, the bully, the queen of aesthetics and venom, flanked by her entourage of glittery piranhas who fed off drama like sharks in blood-stained water. Brielle's eyes, icy and calculating, landed on Lena like a sniper's aim, and she smiled, a slow, poisonous curve that promised disaster, before whispering something to the girl next to her, who immediately giggled with malicious excitement, and Lena felt dread sink into her belly like a stone. The assembly continued normally at first, the principal droning on about school spirit, upcoming events, and expectations for the week, but beneath the mundane words simmered tension, the kind that prickled the back of Lena's neck, and she knew the moment something was about to happen when Brielle casually nodded at two boys near the bleachers, her loyal enforcers who obeyed without question. Suddenly, the microphone squealed, and everyone winced as Brielle snatched it from the student council president, flashing her signature smile of entitlement before announcing she had something fun to share with the whole school, a surprise activity she claimed was meant to boost confidence. Though Lena knew confidence wasn't what Brielle boosted, she only boosted her own ego by crushing others. Brielle called Lena's name in a sugary tone that carried poison beneath sweetness, and the crowd parted as if Moses himself had demanded space, revealing Lena standing small and confused, the spotlight suddenly glaring hot and merciless on her. Students whispered, curious, some sympathetic, some excited to witness whatever drama was about to erupt. "Come up here, Lena," Brielle cooed, but her eyes glittered with cruelty, and Lena's feet felt like cement as she forced herself up the steps, heart pounding like a trapped bird. When she reached the stage, Brielle circled her like a predator examining prey, then suddenly asked loudly, "Is this the girl you all think should represent our school in the academic competition?" Her voice dripped sarcasm, and the crowd chuckled uncertainly, aware that agreeing might put them in Brielle's crosshairs. Silence thickened, embarrassment choking Lena like smoke. Then Brielle leaned in, whispering something only Lena could hear, but what she whispered made Lena's blood run cold. "Everyone in this school hates you. Watch." She straightened abruptly, feigned innocence, then slapped Lena across the face. Hard, so hard the sound cracked like a whip, echoing through the gym, followed by gasps from 200 students who watched in stunned silence as Lena staggered back, her cheek burning, eyes stinging with humiliation and disbelief. Brielle laughed, her friends joining in, and someone recorded it on their phone. As always, ready to upload her cruelty online for likes and applause, Lena felt tiny, exposed, shattered, like her soul had been peeled open for public consumption. The principal sputtered, shocked, but Brielle's father, chairman of the school board, had already conditioned faculty to tread lightly around his daughter, so instead of consequences, an awkward hush settled in, and the crowd began dispersing as if pretending nothing had happened would erase the scene from existence. Lena fled before the tears could fall, but every step felt like dragging broken glass. She locked herself in a bathroom stall, chest heaving, face hot, humiliation drowning her, but then something unexpected happened, something she didn't anticipate. The humiliation didn't break her. It hardened her. It turned her pain into purpose. It awakened a version of herself she had buried for years, a version her mother used to call the Phoenix, because when Lena hit rock bottom, she didn't stay there, she rose. And rise she did. That afternoon, while Brielle bragged about the slap and replayed the video for everyone who hadn't witnessed the spectacle, Lena began digging, not into revenge at first, but into answers, because the slap wasn't random, it wasn't spontaneous, it was calculated, and Lena wanted to know why. It was during her research that she stumbled across something strange, something about Brielle's mother, a woman who had mysteriously disappeared years ago. Rumors suggested she ran away, others whispered more sinister theories, but none of those explanations matched the sealed documents Lena found referenced in an old online article, hinting at a scandal connected to the school board. Intrigued, Lena dug deeper, using the library's dusty archives, online databases, and even an old USB left by a former student who hated the Summers family, until she uncovered a trail of corruption involving Brielle's father, embezzlement of school funds, paying students to keep quiet about incidents, manipulating teachers' job security, and covering up misconduct committed by Brielle and her friends. And suddenly, everything made sense. Brielle wasn't just cruel, she was protected, insulated by her father's power, allowed to destroy anyone without consequences. Lena realized she had the ammunition to bring them down, not just for the slap, but for every victim before her. But before she could act, the unexpected happened. Jace Rivers, the mysterious, aloof new transfer student who kept mostly to himself, approached her after class, handing her his phone with the video of the slap, but his version had captured something no one else noticed. Brielle's father standing in the hallway, smiling proudly as if witnessing a performance he approved of, nodding slightly when Brielle struck Lena. This was bigger than bullying, this was systemic abuse, orchestrated and rewarded. Jace revealed he wasn't just a transfer student, his mother was an investigative journalist who had been digging into the Summers family for years before her sudden accident, one Jace believed wasn't an accident at all. He had come to the school to find evidence, but he needed someone on the inside whom Brielle underestimated completely. Lena was perfect. Together, they formed a plan that unfolded like a slow, calculated storm, gathering testimonies from former students, collecting financial documents, secretly recording conversations, hacking into public databases to uncover inconsistencies, tracking the flow of money from school accounts to private projects owned by Brielle's father, and slowly, methodically building a case so airtight it would choke the Summers empire until it collapsed. But twists came like lightning. One night, while Lena scanned files in the library, a shadow approached, Brielle's own brother, Aiden, who revealed he wasn't like the rest of his family and wanted to help expose the truth, even if it meant betraying his father and sister. He warned Lena that Brielle had discovered someone was digging into her family's secrets and planned to frame Lena for cyberbullying and vandalism, using fabricated evidence to ensure she was expelled before she could strike back. With Aiden's help, Lena and Jace flipped the trap. They planted false clues to lure Brielle into revealing her scheme, recording every confession, every malicious plan, every threat she made to ruin Lena forever, capturing her in her own web. Then came the day everything detonated. At another assembly, ironically hosted by Brielle herself, Lena interrupted the event with a calmness that shocked everyone, walking onto the stage with the same steps she once took in fear, but this time carrying the confidence of someone who had endured the fire and learned to control it. She connected her laptop to the projector, ignoring Brielle's protests, and played a video montage: the slap, the behind-the-scenes manipulation, the financial scams, the threats, the recordings, the testimonies, the truth. Gasps erupted, teachers turned pale, students stared in disbelief, the principal gaped, and Brielle's world collapsed in real time as her father stormed toward the stage, shouting, but police, called by Jace hours earlier, intercepted him, arresting him in front of everyone. Brielle screamed, trying to erase the files, but it was too late. Everything was already leaked online, spreading like wildfire. Her power evaporated, her followers scattered, her reputation shattered, and Lena, quiet, invisible Lena, stood tall as the crowd erupted into applause, not for the destruction, but for the courage she displayed, a courage none of them realized she possessed. The school board was dismantled, corruption exposed, scholarships returned to deserving students, and new policies enforced to protect victims of bullying and abuse. Brielle was expelled, her father faced charges, Aiden moved out to escape the toxic legacy. Jace, finally finishing his mother's investigation, decided to stay in town, and as for Lena, she didn't become the queen of the school, she became its voice, its protector, its reminder that even the quietest girl can become the loudest force when pushed too far. And it all began with a single slap in front of 200 students, an act meant to destroy her, but instead forged her into the unstoppable force no bully, no corrupt family, no legacy of cruelty would ever silence again.